I don't usually speak first in rooms like this. Even now, sitting here, I feel my chest tighten just from knowing that in a few moments, all these eyes will rest on me. Not judging, not rushing, just waiting. I keep telling myself that this is a safe space, that everyone here understands silence, but my body hasn't caught up to that idea yet. I guess that's why I'm starting like this, because most of my life has been lived quietly, and somehow that quiet still managed to hurt. I'm 38 years old. I live alone in a small apartment on the edge of a city that never really sleeps, even when I desperately want it to. I'm not married. I don't have children. I work remotely for a company where most people know my name, but very few know anything about me beyond my productivity. My days look fine from the outside. I wake up early. I make coffee the same way every morning. I answer emails. I join meetings. I nod at the right moments. I smile when it's expected. If you asked anyone in my life how I'm doing, they'd probably say I'm stable, independent, put together. What they wouldn't say, because I've never given them the words, is that I feel like I've been slowly fading out of my own life. It didn't start with a big loss. No breakup, no dramatic betrayal, no single moment I can point to and say, that's when everything changed. It was smaller than that, softer, more patient. I think it began when people stopped needing me in obvious ways. Most of my friends are married now. Some have kids. Their lives didn't shut me out intentionally. They just grew fuller, louder, more urgent. Our conversations shortened. Our plans became tentative. We'll figure something out soon turned into months of silence, then years. At first, I understood. I told myself this was normal. I adjusted. I became flexible. I became the friend who said, "No worries, maybe next time," without letting my voice crack. But after a while, I noticed something unsettling. No one was really asking about my life anymore. They'd talk about school schedules, mortgages, exhaustion. I'd listen. I'd ask questions. I'd show up emotionally. And when there was a pause, when there was space for me, I'd feel this strange pressure, like whatever I said needed to be brief, interesting, and not too heavy. So I started editing myself. I stopped mentioning how quiet my apartment felt at night. I stopped talking about weekends where I didn't speak out loud to anyone. I stopped explaining how sometimes I'd go to the grocery store just to hear another human voice. Instead, I'd say things like, "Oh, you know, same old stuff." And everyone seemed relieved. My routine became predictable, almost comforting. Work, dishes, laundry, sleep, repeat. I filled the silence with noise, podcasts playing in the background, the TV left on even when I wasn't watching. I told myself I liked being alone. I told myself this was freedom. But deep down, something felt off. There's a difference between solitude and invisibility. I didn't have the language for that yet. The loneliness I'm talking about wasn't dramatic. It didn't feel sharp. It felt dull. Like living in a room where the light is always slightly dimmer than it should be. You can see everything, but nothing feels vivid. Sometimes, weeks would go by without anyone texting me first. And when they did, it was usually logistical. A birthday reminder. A forwarded meme. A question that didn't really require an answer. I started wondering if I was doing something wrong. If maybe I had become boring. Or too easy to forget. I didn't bring it up. Not to anyone. Because how do you say, "I feel like I'm disappearing," without sounding dramatic? There was one moment, small, almost embarrassing, that finally broke something open inside me. It was my birthday. Not a milestone. Just another year. I didn't plan anything big. I told myself I didn't care. I bought myself a small cake from the bakery downstairs and ate a slice alone, standing at the counter. That evening, I checked my phone. A few messages came in. Short, polite. Some from people I hadn't spoken to in months. What hurt wasn't the number of messages. What hurt was how none of them really saw me. No one asked how I was doing. No one asked what this year had been like for me. No one lingered. I remember sitting on my couch, cake plate still on the table, realizing that if I disappeared tomorrow, my absence would take a while to register. That thought scared me more than I expected. Around that time, I started noticing how often I apologized, even when I hadn't done anything wrong. How I softened my opinions, how I tried to be easy, agreeable, low maintenance. It was like I was trying to earn my place in people's lives by taking up as little space as possible. And suddenly, that felt unbearable. I'm not telling this story because I've figured it all out. I haven't. I still go days without meaningful conversation. I still struggle with the urge to retreat completely. I still question my worth when the silence stretches too long. But something shifted after that birthday. I started doing small, uncomfortable things. I told one friend, just one, that I'd been feeling lonely. I didn't package it as a joke. I didn't minimize it. I let my voice shake. She didn't fix it. She didn't know what to say. But she listened. And that mattered more than I expected. I stopped pretending I was fine when I wasn't. Not in a dramatic way, just honest, simple, human. I started showing up for myself, too, taking walks without headphones, sitting with the quiet instead of running from it, letting myself grieve the life I thought I'd have by now. Healing hasn't been loud. It hasn't come with big friendships suddenly appearing or my calendar filling up overnight. It's been slow. It's been learning that my loneliness doesn't mean I'm unlovable. It's been realizing that being unseen for a long time can make you forget how to be seen. But it doesn't erase your right to connection. I still feel lonely sometimes. But now, when I sit with that feeling, I don't shame myself for it. I remind myself that wanting to be known is not a weakness. It's proof that I'm still here. And maybe that's why I'm speaking tonight. Because saying this out loud, in a room where no one expects me to perform or minimize or disappear, feels like a small step back into my own life. If anyone listening recognizes themselves in this, the quiet kind of loneliness, the invisible kind, I hope you know you're not broken. Sometimes you're just waiting to be met.